Just back from Anfield, disappointing afternoon really. It was always going to be tough. Liverpool away, last game of the season, as we seem to play them quite often away on the last game of the season. But yeah, it was always going to be a tough game. But we had our pretty much first 11 back out really, other than Neto, who was on the bench. You'd have to say really that's probably about as good as a team as we put out for a while. And we actually didn't start too bad, to be fair. Quite defensive. Wasn't the only thing that was a bit disappointing, a bit too deep for me. At times there was probably only about 10 yards between the centre half and the strikers, so just not really enough sort of length across the pitch to sort of give us an out ball. So when we did win the ball back, sometimes it was just coming straight back at us, which was disappointing. But as I say, always going to be a tough game. Hwang seemed to start through the middle, Cunha on one side, and then no one really on the other. Probably Nori playing a bit further up ahead of Totti, although then when we didn't have the ball, he did seem to drop back deep and make that five at the back again. And we actually probably had the better chances until Semedo got sent off. Hwang had a really good one, good drive up the pitch from Cunha, I think it was. Released Hwang at the right time, who had a decent enough shot from what I could see that was saved by the keeper and out for a corner. And Liverpool didn't really create anything up until Semedo gets sent off. And the most frustrating thing for me with the Semedo sending off, the VAR is a little bit annoying. They probably could have left it alone at a yellow, but having seen it again, I can see why they've given it. They didn't need to. It wasn't a clear and obvious error. But I can see why they have. When you slow it right down, which I'm not saying is right, but when you do slow it right down, he does look like he's gone in studs up over the top of the ball. So I can see why it's given. But the most frustrating thing about it is Semedo's taken a throw in, thrown it all the way back to Kilman, who's miles behind him. You presumably just to try and keep the ball rather than actually try and get somewhere, which we seem to do quite often, that sort of backward pass. And Kilman has just kicked it in the general direction somewhere near back to Semedo. And you think, well, he could have just taken a touch, turned, laid it out the other way, done anything with it other than what he did. And that really caused Semedo to try and sort of dive in and ended up getting sent off. And the whole thing was just completely avoidable for sort of so many different ways. So, yeah, that was the frustrating thing really with that one. And then obviously down to 10 men, away at Anfield, Klopp's last game, blah, 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 was always going to be tough. We should have scored, really. Nori with some great play, squared it to Cunha. I actually thought, having sat down the defender, he should have just used his right foot, wrapped it around the keeper and stuck it in the back of the net. Equally, once he rolls it to Kilman, he's got to take it first time. You can't be taking a touch there because Van Dijk's on him, closes it down and gets the block off. But that should have been a goal. Having said that, straight after half-time, Liverpool should have had another two. I don't know what Totti's doing. It just awful defending it. And it's too often that, not just Totti, but the defenders generally are just not good enough. I mean, Liverpool's first goal, McAllister, well, Harvey Elliott for a start, gets the ball out wide. He's only got one foot, left foot. That's all he's got. Don't get me wrong, good left foot, but that's all he's got. So instead of that, we show him straight onto his left foot and let him cross it. McAllister, all 5'0" of him, then heads the ball back in the net. Just ridiculous. There's no way he should be heading that ball in that position when we've got three centre halves on the pitch. Just not good enough. But yeah, so second half, right at the start of the second half, Totti tries to clear the ball. For some reason, I think kicks it straight into Kilman, who dropped straight to the Liverpool player, who we all thought had scored, but must have gone wide because it then went for a goal kick, thankfully. And then not 10 minutes later, Totti's got the ball again in the sort of left-back position and just aimlessly kicks a ball back towards Sarr. He clearly hasn't looked. There's a Liverpool player right in between. And the ball ends up coming off the bar and thankfully doesn't go in again. But yeah, frustrating afternoon. But, you know, I think Gary O'Neill's comments this afternoon after the game are positive. He's absolutely right. Why, if we've got no money, we sending players out on loan? Absolute nonsense. Even if we make a loss on them compared to what we played, cut your losses, get some money in, and let's reinvest ready for next season. But do you know what? Overall, the last bit of the season, obviously, I think one win in 13, 14 is obviously disappointing. The Coventry game was disappointing, but I think upon reflection, if you really look at the season as a whole, double against Spurs, double against Chelsea, beating Man City at home, there's been some real good performances this season. Obviously, the Albion away, just what a game, what a result. Overall, it's been a really good season. But I think that it feels disappointing because of how it's ended. But like I say, I think on reflection, you've got to say it's been a good season, really. Get O'Neill, get his own players in next year, have a full pre-season, and hopefully onwards and upwards.
So it's finished Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Liverpool 2 in what will be Gary O'Neill's last game as Wolves manager this season. It's been an interesting season so far, but I want to get straight into the team so far quickly. The big change to me at the start was obviously Santi Bueno came in back into the back line again, and obviously Smaida back out to right back. Which I thought Santi Bueno slotted in quite well. The back line generally pretty well today. Smaida was playing really well, obviously until he got sent off. Obviously in the stadium, it was a bit difficult to see whether it was meant to be a red card or not. A lot of people have texted me in the game saying it shouldn't have been a red card, so I imagine it wouldn't. It was a bit of a harsh one anyway. If you've watched it on TV, obviously a better view than I had. Couldn't really tell from where I was. Joe Gomez, man of the match for me today, is fantastic. I know I said on this last week that he's now doing more and more stuff on the ball. He was class on the ball today. He had some really good, difficult positions. Starting attacks now, driving the ball forward. And I thought it's a big job for us now. Try and keep hold of him in the summer because he can be a real key player for us next year. He was so good today. Ran the park for me in midfield, really, even when we down to 10 men. Again, another one who played really well was Bellegarde. Bellegarde, I feel sorry for him having to keep moving around. As soon as somebody was sent off, he had to drop into right back. But again, he did a decent job. And in the midfield areas, when he picked up the ball in those sort of areas, he got a chance to try and take players on and run past players. He's strong, he's a tenacious little player. I do think next season he's going to be a key player for us. Obviously, I was disappointed when he went off, but I thought he was really good today. That's two times, both games against Liverpool this season. I think he's played really well in. Neto came on, obviously, he was good when he came on, Neto. Now, I actually thought, if you probably wouldn't have seen this on the TV, if you went to the game, when he was warming up before he came on, he looked a little bit sheepish, where the fans were cheating, singing his name, stuff looked a little bit down, almost like embarrassed, I thought, when they were singing his name, clapping a little bit. And then obviously when he came on, some good touch when he came on. I'll get onto that more in a minute though. Kuna, I think, should have scored when shot back inside. He could have shot himself. That could have been a good goal. He hesitated a little bit too much there. So I think we actually deserved a goal in it, because when Doherty put the one offside in as well. I think actually, even though we went down to 10 men, I do think we played quite well. We played some good stuff. We defended quite well. Joseph Sarr made some really good saves. I know he gets a lot to stick, and it does for me as well. Distribution was still rubbish, still knocking into the stands and stuff, but he made some really good saves. He made one from the top corner in the second half. It was a top-class save. Big thing for me is obviously looking at next season. The player reactions always say a lot at the last game of the season, and some people don't read into it too much, but this one particularly. Now, I mentioned a little bit before Neto came on. Other Wolves fans can obviously comment on here if you were at the games, or let us know in the comments what you thought. I thought he looked quite emotional at the end when he waited for the last one to give the shirts away. He waited. He looked visibly upset that the Wolves staff were consoling him at the end. Then he walked over gently and gave his shirt away and clapped. I thought his body language is someone that's leaving in the summer, whether he wants to or not. You could just tell. It'd be interesting what the Wolves fans think of that as well. But I definitely think his body language is giving signs that he's probably going. Which is obviously a shame. He's been there a while, but if we can get some good money for him. But it'd be interesting what people's views on that. Obviously, moving forward now, there'll be loads of stuff I'm talking about. I think I imagine moving forward with what's going up next season, how views of this season, who buy, sell, and keep players, all that sort of stuff, podcasts. But I think it's been a really good season this year in terms of where we could start, what happened. We're disappointed obviously after the Coventry game, but with the injury we've had, we've done fairly well. If we can try and keep everybody fit now, start next season strong. I know it's like 1 win in 10, but we haven't been playing like it. If you actually watched the game today, it didn't feel like we were down to 10 men, played some good stuff. We've just got to try and start getting the results again back now and start the next season strong. But hopefully I'll see you soon, some sort of Talking Wolves content, and if not, I'll catch you next season. Cheers.
So, Liverpool 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0 on the final day of Wolves' 6th consecutive season in the top flight of English football. And in those 6 seasons, they've lost on the final day in every single one of them. So I don't think anybody expected Wolves to do anything but lose today, especially given the ground they were playing at, the form since the middle of March, and of course, the video assistant referee getting itself involved again where it wasn't wanted. Wolves were never going to win that game today. Of course, it would have been Jurgen Klopp's last game at Liverpool, and he's gone now, and I don't think anyone really cares apart from them. And Sky Sports, obviously. But, yeah, it was an okay performance from Wolves for the first half an hour until Nelson Semedo was sent off. Now, Wolves have to be careful, because for my money, it's not a red card. It's soft. But it's not one that I'd be going absolutely mental over and putting out statements or whatever, or saying Wolves will consider their options with Nottingham Forest-esque because it's not bad. It's not that bad, but it's a poor decision. I don't think it's a red card for my money anyway. Semedo goes in. He's high. He's a little bit high, but it's not like it's not that. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. And the fact that an on-field review was recommended, you just knew it would be, and you just knew he would be sent off after you saw the first replay. I didn't have any doubt in my mind about it. Even Jamie Carragher, staunch Liverpool fans, he said it was an orange. And yeah, it kind of was. It wasn't definitely a red, and it was more than likely just a yellow. You see players get away with that all the time. That sort of thing. Like, sure, I remember a couple of years back, you are going back a bit, when Paul Pogba did that exact thing nearly to Ruben Neves. It wasn't a review to see if Paul Pogba should be sent off. Manchester United actually scored a goal from that, and that wasn't given as a foul. So, just it swings and roundabouts with these sort of things, but except Wolves are never on the good end of the swing. Like, it's disgusting, like, at this stage. I'm sick of it. But like I'm saying, I'm not going mad over this particular decision, but it's just a build-up of bad decisions all season long. And Gary O'Neill, once again, in his press conference on Friday, he alluded to it, about how it needs to change and how it probably needs to go. And for his money, he'd love to see it go, and I'd love to see it go. But of course, we live in a realistic world where that's not going to happen. But I am happy with the club for rebelling last week or this week and tabling this motion to get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And I'm glad that they haven't sat back and just watched, because all season I've been crying out for them to make a statement or do something. Like, obviously Nottingham Forest one was very dramatic, where they accused them of corruption or whatever it was. Like, that wasn't the way to go about it. The way Wolves have gone about it is actually very good, and I think hopefully with some good discussion in June or July or whenever this meeting takes place amongst the clubs, the fan consensus is very clear. I think fans of every club would love to see it got rid of. Keep the semi-automated offsides and get rid of VAR or something like that. Something along those lines. Trial something, because it's not working and it's in current form. I've seen goals since we brought this motion forward on Tuesday that shouldn't have counted. Like Manchester or Newcastle not getting a penalty at Manchester United. That sort of thing. It's like bad decision after bad decision. It's just not good enough. But yeah, got away from Wolves a little bit there. I thought that after the red card, of course, we conceded 2 goals. Sloppy. McAllister just heads it in. His smallest man on the pitch. Crossed in. Bueno, Kilman, Totti. None of them anywhere near him. I'm growing sick of the centre-backs, to be honest. Them really pissed me off since Coventry. All of them. Whenever Bueno's played, Kilman has annoyed me for a while now. Totti Goma's been well off it for weeks. I think. Hopefully Mosquera back, and Mosquera in, and Mosquera plays next season. Mosquera's playing every week for Villarreal in Spain, who are a good team. Like, for God's sake, that is a good centre-back. Like, if we went and signed a Mosquera for 20 million, people would be going mental. He's right there. So I fully expect him to see him in the squad next season. And I'm saying, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, if we are to make a big sale this summer, it's got to be Kilman. Now, I know he's played every single minute this season, but I can't see his captaincy qualities, and I can't see his real defending ability. Without Dawson holding his hand next to him, he doesn't look up to it at all, to be honest with you. But that's just my opinion. Bueno, I'd say, and Totti Gomez as well, he's just had a rough time of it, like, so you can give them the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, the defending, and even on the second goal, was poor again. Guanza just puts it in. Second half, Wolves did alright. I can't believe how Cunha didn't score that chance between himself and Aït-Nouri. It really was like, what an opportunity. And Pedro Neto came on after his long injury layoff, and I thought he did very well in his 2 runs. He had a run which he went past about 3 Liverpool players, and they fouled him on the edge of the box, and with a free kick, and he got a shot on target for it. And we also scored a goal as well, but that one was offside, so I won't moan about that. I won't moan about correct decisions. Doherty headed in from Tommy Doyle cross. But yeah, I thought the second half was really good, considering we had 10 men, and over the course of the season, it's just a shame that Fosun in January didn't back us, and in the end they've killed themselves. Fosun have. They didn't want to pay 2 or 3 million for a loan fee for the likes of Armando Broja, Carlos Vinicius, and they've paid the price, because we've gone from what would be we're pushing for 7th, we're finished 14th. So we've lost about 12 million in prize money from where we would have finished if we just signed a striker in January, or we would have been in a Wembley semi-final against a bad Manchester United team. So it's a season of what-ifs, but it's a season of progress for Wolves as well. 5 more points than last season, And I think if we can get it right this summer, Gary O'Neill's been very defiant in his post-match press conference today of he will keep people that he wants to keep and that want to be here, and by all means he will sell and he will get rid of people that he doesn't want here next season. And I don't think there are many bad characters in the squad at the minute, and he alluded to players that left in January that had no place in the squad, that even if they'd stayed they wouldn't have contributed, which I thought was brave as well as probably true, but you don't know what's going on, and we all know the players that who he was alluding to as well, and I cannot wait to not have to worry about some of them after the summer. Hopefully we see the back of the likes of Fabio Silva. But yes, 14th, taken at the start of the season. Work to do though in the summer. It's a massive summer for Wolves, and like he said earlier, Gary O'Neill, you're not going to progress if you lose your best players. So let that be a message to the board. The Wolves aren't a million miles away, but they cannot afford another summer of selling and not spending. Final score, Liverpool 2, Wolves 0.
Finally, another season over for the Wolves. It's finished today. Finished 2-0 to Liverpool on final day. And thank God it's over in some senses. And then I am quite disappointed in the way that it's ended. I thought today that we didn't particularly play too badly. I thought we were good in spells. And the sending off kind of ruined the game. I'm not going to get too much into it because we moan a lot about VAR, but I feel that if he's not sent off there, we give Liverpool a bit of a better game. It's a bit more even. I think we create more chances, but it wasn't to be. And look, it's Klopp's last game. They're always going to make it so that he wins the game, or has a chance to give a good send off. It's just how things are. If it's the other way, it probably isn't given. I do think it's one of those orangey tackles that isn't quite a red, but it's definitely a yellow. But unfortunately, we're on the end of a red card instead, completely changing the game. And then they get 2 quick goals from that, really. But I thought some of the players played really well today. I thought Bellegarde was really, really good. Cunha was trying to create chances for us. Wang's had a good chance to score. I think going forward, we look decent in Nuri as well. Good on the ball. João Gomez is playing some really nice stuff as well. Our big thing today was just the defending. So poor. Both goals, really. The first one from McAllister, he shouldn't be getting in front of Bueno there to win the header, and the second one is just it's comical to watch us defend at times. And even they were getting more chances in the second half, and they were creating chances from our mistakes. Totti really poor back pass to Sarr, and they've cut one across the box, and you see the bar and bounce on the line. But yes, it's frustrating. It's a really poor end to the season. We are lucky that the fact that we're in a good position, and we can say that we stayed it comfortably, which we did. And the lads deserve that. We got to that point, and from then on, really, it's been kind of just waiting for the season to finish, which is a shame, especially for the fans who have put a lot in this season and got a lot of shit back, but also some really, really, really good times. So I'm happy with where we are. I'm happy with the lads. I'm happy with the manager. The only thing I'm not really happy with is the state of what our summer is going to look like. No one really knows at this point, but I just have a bad feeling that it's going to look like the same that it has done for the past 4 or 5 years of selling a player and not really reinvesting. This team seriously needs investment. After today, you could look like we could do with a whole new back three, really, but I don't think we'll see that. So losing a couple of players might be good for us in terms of being able to reinvest into the squad. Neto going maybe, and some others that may go along the way, and we may be able to reinvest that money back into the squad, which this seriously needs for us to, one, stay up again this year, and two, be a competitive team in where we really want to be, and that's the top half of the Premier League. But overall, good season for us. Gary O'Neill, fantastic job. The players, fantastic job. Hopefully, with a good rest now, not many of them going to the Euros, which will help us for people staying fit and healthy, and maybe people going. Hopefully, we can come back next season stronger and ready to go again and fight for that top half of the Premier League spots. So yeah, it's been a pleasure being on Talking Wolves this season again. Like I said last week, shout out to Dave and all the lads who deal with Talking Wolves. They've done a great job again this season. And thank you guys for watching. So we shall see you next season, hopefully. Until then, up the Wolves.